Hey guys, Tom from Elevation Every Weekend here, and we're going to do a quick review or overview really of the 2020 Trek Marlin 5 girls bike. So just a couple real quick details about this bike. It's weighing in at about 31 pounds, which is not light by higher end modern bike standards, but for a entry-level bike, it's actually pretty nimble and it's a pretty good lightweight. It's got the Trek aluminum frame. And it is the silver. They rate their grade their aluminum by silver, gold, and platinum. And all the bikes have the same weight rating as far as the strength of the frame, which is a total rider weight of about 300 pounds. But the difference is in the higher quality alloys are stronger and lighter because they can use thinner walls, and then the manufacturing process are a little different. So that's the basic difference. So this bike is the extra small version. There's 5 different frame sizes, and the extra small and the small frame sizes get 27.5-inch wheels, which is a good smart upgrade by Trek in order to keep the bike more manageable for smaller riders. This bike here is actually for our 12-year-old kiddo, and she's about to do her 4th year of Little Bellas. I'll drop a link down below to that organization. It's basically an organization for girls to ride mountain bikes and learn basic skills, but it's mainly for just empowerment and things like that. So she's about to do that starting this spring for the 4th year in a row. She had been on a 24-inch pre-caliper, so by 24-inch, that's the wheel size. Again, this bike is a 27.5, so this is a good upgrade for her. She just fits this bike now, and it gives her plenty of room to grow, so she'll be able to use this bike probably for 2 or 3 more years as she gets bigger. But it'll be a nice upgrade for her on multiple levels. One is that being a bigger wheel size, it'll be more capable for mountain biking in the trail, and it does have better, more adult amenities like her 24-inch pre-caliper had grip shifters. Which I know some other bikes do have those. It's not a size specific thing, but she always kind of struggled with those. This bike has more traditional 2-lever trigger shifters, which she's already doing much better with. So the Marlin 5 is an entry-level trail bike, bike path bike, commuter bike. What designates it as a viable option for commuting is a couple things. One, it's at a lower price point, and this bike lists for $549 in the United States. So it's a moderately priced bike on the lower end, but it's got real components on it. It's definitely an upgrade from your big box store type bikes and things like that. So it's a nice upgrade there. But what designates it as a commuter bike is it is a reasonable price point. So if you are parking your bike on a bike rack and whatnot, the danger of theft or whatnot is a little less painful than if you were, spending thousands of dollars on a bike. But the primary reason it's can function as a commuter bike is because it does have mounting points for bike racks, and it does have a rear mount for kickstand if you wanted to run that. But it can be a functional commuter bike for those reasons. And then our primary use is for her is going to be mountain biking. And the bike certainly covers all those entry-level type bike path mountain biking type things because it does have a front suspension fork, and it does have good solid size mountain bike tires and wheels, and the general geometry of the bike is suitable for trail riding, again at an entry-level pace. So it kind of checks all the boxes on that. Speaking of the front fork, it is a suspension fork. It has a coil spring suspension. It's not an air suspension. Again, it's at a lower end price point. It's the Suntour XCE 28. It's really, it does function. So, you do get some, benefit from it, especially when you're riding more aggressive trail type or bumpier trail type things. But it is what I would call a bike path fork. So it's not really suitable for jumps and big drops and things like that. It is not designed for that. It's more designed just to give you a little better traction and comfort when you're riding some rougher terrain, entry-level trails, bike paths, things like that. It's suitable for all those types of riding. Oh, and the travel, again, on the smaller bikes, it's 80 millimeters to travel on the smaller 2 sizes with the 27.5-inch wheels. And then on the bigger 29-inch wheeled bikes, it's 100 millimeters to travel for the front fork. A couple of the other things that designate the small and the extra small bikes is the way the top tube. So on the larger bikes, the top tube kind of comes straight down, but on these smaller bikes, they actually bow it down a little more to give a little more standover clearance, again for smaller riders, so that's one of the benefits. And the other thing they do is they give you a shorter travel in the brake levers, again designed for smaller hands, so they can reach and actuate the brakes more easily for them. And those are a couple other things that Trek does to gear these bikes towards smaller riders. Speaking of the brakes, they are Tektro and they are hydraulic disc brakes, which is a nice upgrade. Again, her prior 24-inch pre-caliber, it was a rim brake bike and cable pull. So these are hydraulic and they are disc. So the braking function and sensitivity is much improved, much easier for her to modulate and get good braking with minor input from the brake lever. And I've used Tektro brakes on other bikes in the past, some of my more entry-level bikes, and they've always done the job and been solid, so I've no complaints with those. The drivetrain components on the bike are all Shimano, and it's a mix of Altus and Turney. So going from the shifters down to the crankset and the rear derailleur, it's a mix of those components. Again, it's a 3x7 drivetrain, so 21 speed, 3 in the front, 7 in the back. Plenty of range for the type of bike and type of rider she is and the type of riding she'll be doing. And what I found with all of the, whether it's SRAM or Shimano, the lower end components, they may be heavier, but they generally are very reliable and they shift very well, very positive shifts. So you're really not sacrificing anything by having those lower end components from Shimano or SRAM. They both do a great job at these price points. This bike has had some frame tube shape redesign in the last couple years, and I think they've done a great job. I think it's a great looking bike for a more moderately priced aluminum bike. But one of the things they did do, which is great, is this bike has internal cable routing, so you can kind of see it here, and the cables for the rear brake and the rear derailleur come out under the bottom bracket. So that's a real nice feature because you don't have cables running down the tubes anywhere that they have to worry about, getting hung up or snagged or anything like that. And you don't have any of those little zip ties that you pretty much are forced to use that can get little sharp corners and do a number on you if you're not careful. So that's an awesome feature, I think, that they've really come on strong with for this year. This bike does come with Trek's Bontrager XR2 tires. They're on this bike 27.5 inch diameter, 2.2 inch width. It's a good, moderately aggressive tire. It is a cross-country tire, which is exactly what this bike's used for. So it's okay on pavement or paved bike paths. Hard pack does a good job on there. It rolls well. It's not too loud, not too clunky. Decent grip. But if you do get it in the dirt, it does a decent job. It is a softer compound, so they do wear a little quicker in my experience with Bontrager tires, but you do get good grip from them, so they do perform well. They're not too heavy, so they're a good fit for this type of bike. When I moved out to Colorado, probably about 10 years ago now, the first real mountain bike I bought was a 2013 Trek Marlin 6. It was a size large. It is a 29-inch bike, wheeled bike. I still have it. I use it now as just like a townie. It still, functions great. I've bought better bikes since then, so I've obviously gotten used to the benefits of having higher quality bikes that are lighter and with higher end components. However, it's going strong after all these years. Has literally thousands of miles on it. I did all types of cross-country and bike path type riding on it, lots of pavement riding on it. Again, I still use it as a townie and still use it on the pavement here and there. So it's still going strong after all these years. It's a great platform to start. So if you're interested in getting into mountain biking, Trek Marlin, they have a range of them from 5, 6, and 7 where you just have some better options on the components and the fork and things like that. But they're a good platform to start out on and see if it's for you. And actually, the Marlin I have has a lower end bike path. It's a Suntour fork also, bike path fork on it. So again, not really that effective in rougher terrain, and definitely not designed for drops or jumps or anything like that. I actually for a while had another Suntour fork on it. I upgraded to one of their higher end, more of a mid price point fork. Put that on and it did great. So these bikes can do good if you want to keep it for a long term. You can upgrade the fork on these Marlin bikes and have something that's a little more capable, get you to that next level of riding safely, because the front fork is an area where you don't want to push it beyond its limits. But they are suitable for an upgrade like that, upgrading wheels, things like that. I wouldn't go too crazy, but you can make a good platform better and get, extend the capability and the lifespan of the bike for you before you feel the need to upgrade to a higher end, more capable bike. They definitely have a higher ceiling with a little bit of investment. So that's just a quick overview of the bike. Going to be doing more videos down the road once we get her out there on it and get some miles on it, see how she does on it, and see how it works out for her. So if you found anything helpful in this video, please subscribe and drop a like down below. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll certainly get to you as soon as I can. But thank you very much and have a good day.